Welcome to 4.4 of The Addict. As a reminder, this profile type is motivated by stimulation, especially when risky or dangerous, with intent to fill the inner void. Now, when I talk about this pattern, I'm not talking about addiction. Addiction is a disease. Addiction is the loss of control. Sociopathy is deliberate control to achieve a perceived need or reward. But this type in particular may use the narrative of addiction to excuse or disguise the intent behind their actions. Even though they are both driven by dopamine, they are biologically different. In addiction, dopamine activity is dysregulated. It's overstimulated, then depleting, and the brain needs the addiction to feel normal. In sociopathy, the dopamine circuits, especially in the ventral striatum, are overactive and hypersensitive to anticipation of reward, but the prefrontal brakes that weigh moral consequences don't dampen that signal effectively. So, how do you tell the difference? Well, sociopathic patterns almost always start in childhood and act out during the teenage years. They might tell stories of taking risks, breaking rules, drinking, or acting out, but not necessarily in an addictive way, but always kind of chasing this rush. Neglect is often a major factor. Kids who lack consistent care may learn to fill that emotional void through danger or intensities. Others may have been exposed to sexual content or abuse way too early, wiring excitement and fear together. Another path is modeling. If they watched a parent or authority figure act out recklessly, win attention, or face no consequences, they learned that thrill seeking brings admiration. Sometimes it's as simply as realizing that when they got hurt, a parent finally paid attention, and so the brain stored that as a pattern. The perfect case study for this type is the infamous Clyde from Bonnie and Clyde. When you look at his chart, you'll see that he has a 100% open spleen, and this can make someone extremely fearful or fearless, in which Clyde's case was the latter. Clyde grew up in a very poor farming family that moved around a lot. He experienced material neglect that makes him overlap with the bitter Betty profile. On top of that, Clyde admired his older convicted brother Buck and learned to steal cars and commit petty theft by following his example as a teen and, as he stated, for fun. He was first arrested in his late teens for returning a rental car, but he didn't learn the consequences. Astrologically, this is the shadow side of Aries, the warrior energy. Clyde was an Aries sun, and his Aries was also in Saturn, where he carried gate 21, the gate of control. In its light, Aries represents courage and leadership, but in its shadow, it will become dominant and reckless, acting before thinking. Gate 21, when distorted, tries to control everything around it out of the fear of losing that control. For those on the lower end of the spectrum, change is possible if they can learn to replace risk with a different type of reward. Some therapy modalities that would help would be somatic experiencing to calm the body, DBT to manage the impulsivity, and also there's adventure or experiential therapy, which safely channels the thrill-seeking drive into challenge-based activities within a therapeutic container. So stay tuned and follow for the narcissistic profile that I'll be breaking down